This is ESBR Boxing, and I'm delighted to be joined by Nick Ball ahead of his world featherweight title challenge against Rey Vargas on the Joshua Ngannou undercard in Saudi Arabia on March 8th. Nick, thanks for joining me, mate. Ahead of the what probably is the biggest fight of your life. How's things?
Yeah, it's all good, as usual. Just in the gym training hard, looking forward to getting out there and seeing what it's about and bringing the belt back to Liverpool. Yeah,
Absolutely. We last saw you in action in Manchester in mid-November, obviously against Isaac Dogbo. You won a comprehensive unanimous decision in the end. How do you reflect on that performance? How do you critique it? What do you kind of give yourself out of 10 if you're going to be critiquing that performance?
um, don't really know. I don't really want to do that, but it was my best performance. But I just done what I had to do. Just just another someone to get through to onto where I'm going, and that's my next fight. So yeah, just done what I had to do, but. Good fight, really. Didn't really get out of second gear, to be honest, but yeah, good fight. But I've got loads more to show, so I'm looking forward to doing that.
Do you think that I think that was your first fight in a while? You didn't win via stoppage. You had a couple of last round stoppages in there as well. Looking back on it now, you feel like at certain points in the fight you maybe could have upped the tempo and stopped Dogby. You obviously dropped them in the fourth round, or were you happy to get the rounds in?
Yeah, you'd probably be lying if you said you're happy to get the round in and you didn't want to stoppage. Every fighter wants a stoppage and a knockout. So yeah, I felt like I learned a few things in that fight, but yeah, I always know where I am in my career, but it's nice to know where you actually are in your career and what level you're at. With people outside looking in saying, "Is Nick really at this level, at world level, and can he box at that level?" And it shows a bit of me boxing at that level. Outboxed him for the full fight in my eyes. Yeah, so it was good to do that, but obviously I would have liked to got the stoppage as well.
Absolutely. Obviously, that was last year. But you're on the world title contention next. Just before we talk about the actual fight itself, Nick, kind of want to touch on the whole event and the whole boxing in Saudi Arabia thing. You're fighting in Saudi for the first time on this huge show with the likes of Anthony Joshua on there, obviously Joseph Parker against Zhang, Parker just beating Wilder and stuff, of course, and Ngannou's just fought Fury. How does it feel to be on a show of that magnitude?
Good, yeah, it's some experience in it, so can't thank Frank enough for getting me on it and everyone involved getting me on it and the opportunity and the coaches. Um, for yeah, sorting it all out and giving me this opportunity for the world title and not only a world title, as you said, on a massive platform like that. I'm looking forward to seeing what it's about because it's all new in it. It's all new to boxing at the minute, and that's where it's happening at the minute. Boxing over there, so I'm looking forward to being a part of it and putting a show on and showing what a really exciting fighting is. So I'm sure they'll like my style.
Absolutely. Obviously, it's kind of you mentioned there Frank getting you the opportunity. We've seen Frank and Eddie working together and stuff now, but it is His Excellency, I think they're calling him, Turki Al Sheikh. Have you had any conversations with him at all? Have you had any conversations with him about this fight?
Nah, none, none. Yeah, but obviously I'll be seeing him when I'm over there, so I'll uh, I'll save that for when I'm over there. Yeah, probably see him over there, but as of yet, nothing.
Do you think that they'll like your style out there? They obviously seem to want to put the best fights on, and yours for a world title as well. But do you think that are you kind of looking at it from the mindset of obviously just win by any means necessary, but at the same time put on a show so they have me back?
Yeah, that's the plan, and that's always what you guarantee with me, and what I can guarantee when I'm fighting, I'm gonna put on a show and an entertaining fight, whether it's no matter who it's against, because I'm coming to fight, and I'm not taking a backward step. Yeah, I'm really coming to put a performance on. So if they like boxing and they like fighting, the there's only one thing in it that they're gonna like. They're not gonna like it. So yeah.
Absolutely. Just before we get on to your actual fight, Nick, want to ask you two more questions, just predictions, really. So, obviously, you're fighting on the Joshua Ngannou card, so I'll ask you about that one first. How do you see that fight playing out?
I see Joshua winning that one. Yeah, don't know how or anything like that. I just see Joshua winning.
Would you probably lean towards a stoppage, or do you think Ngannou looks too difficult and big to stop?
Nah, he's not too big or tough to stop. No, he can. Joshua could definitely just stop him. Yeah, if he catches him in the heavyweight division, it only takes one. Um, yeah, so he could definitely catch him, and he looked good in his last fight, Joshua. So yeah, he could stop him, but it could go the other way as well. Ngannou could stop Joshua because, as you know, heavyweights, anything can happen, can it? Big heavy punches, so anything can happen really. But I want Joshua to win, yeah, because obviously he's the boxer and Ngannou's the MMA, and he's coming over to boxing thinking he can box and that. Yeah, so as boxers, you want the boxer to win, don't you? To let them know they just should do MMA and we should do boxing type of thing. But yeah, obviously he can fight, and he looked good against Tyson Fury. But yeah, probably stick with the boxer.
Yeah, absolutely. Before that, obviously, it's the biggest heavyweight fight we've seen in years. And by the time this interview goes live, I think the fight will have happened. Just to note, so if both Nick and I are completely wrong, that's why. But yeah, Tyson Fury, Alexander Usyk, all of the belts at heavyweight on the line. How do you think that one goes?
I think going off Fury's last performance, I think it's a tough fight for him, but I think he can do it. I think Fury can do it. Yeah. He always seems to, pull it out of the bag, Fury, and yeah, I think he can do it. Yeah, he's yeah. I don't know how or what. I just think he can win. Yeah, and I hope he wins. To be honest.
Do you think he just maybe underestimated Francis Ngannou last time out?
Yeah, probably. We'd never know. We'd never know. He'd only know that answer. But yeah, I'd like to think he never. But his performance, anything can happen going into the ring with a fighter. You don't know what's going on with them. So yeah, anything can happen. But why he might underperform? But I'm sure this time round he can't afford to do that. So I think he'll be on his A game, man. I think he'll beat him.
Yeah, absolutely. Back to yourself. Now, Nick, and talking about your fight against Rey Vargas. Facing you will be Rey Vargas, as I mentioned. He is the WBC World Featherweight Champion. Obviously stepped up to super featherweight, fought Shaki Foster last time out, but he's coming back down to defend his belt against you. What test does he provide? What do you know about him?
Don't really know nothing about him. I just know he's Mexican, tall, skinny. That's it. I don't really know much about him. Like I don't really want to get to know him. I'll get to know bits of him in the ring, but that's about it. But yeah, he's obviously a good fighter because he's world champion. He's at that level for a reason. So yeah, as usual, I won't be taking no fighter lightly. Underestimating anyone, just saying that as always, and look to put on a box performance and get the belt.
And is that you kind of saying, will you be studying Rey Vargas at all, or do you leave that down to your coaches? Or you just get in there and fight?
Yeah, just get in there and fight. Yeah, let them study me, let them worry about me. I'm not too worried. I'm just focusing on myself. And if my coach wants to do that, he can study them and then we'll work on things in the gym and then bring it out fight night, which we always do. Feel like I've got the best team around me for myself. In Paul and Ant in the coaches. Paul's the best coach in boxing in my eyes. So yeah, I trust him and I listen to him. That's the main thing. I respect him. So everything he says, I take in, listen, and then bring it out on fight night. And it's worked every time for me. So I'm not going to stop doing it now.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. I think I had a quick look at bookies odds, and you are the favourite, despite being the challenger. Does that surprise you at all? Do you read anything into that? Does it mean nothing?
Nah, it means nothing to me. That I don't really look at the betting. Yeah, I don't really look too much into that. I don't really get it all, to be honest with you. So just just leave that to the people who want to put bets on, and I'll focus on getting a job done.
Absolutely. One thing I wanted to ask you as well before we finish up is this whole Queensbury against Matchroom, Eddie Hearn against Frank Warren 5v5 that supposedly, as I've read today, is going to be happening in Saudi Arabia, maybe in June, July time. Is that something that you'd be interested in being involved in? Would you want to fight at that? Have you had any conversations or whispers about it? What's your kind of general thoughts on that, Nick?
Yeah, it looks good, doesn't it? I've seen it online and all that, and I've seen in the comments my name was mentioned loads, but I'm not focused on this fight. I don't really care about that yet. That's irrelevant to me right now because that's not what's in front of me now. The Rey Vargas and the WBC world title. That's what's in front of me, and I've got a job to do. So I'll get that job done and then think about that later. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. Absolutely, you're just right. One thing I wanted to ask as well before we finish up, sorry, was I've mentioned we talked earlier about Saudi Arabia and obviously good for boxing in terms of putting the fights on that we want to see. But at the same time, the part of you think maybe it isn't totally good for boxing, British boxing, that we're maybe losing out on certain fights that we would want to have on UK shores that are now going to Saudi Arabia instead.
Yeah, but mainly for the fans. That, but as a fighter, any fighter who got a call up to go fight there, they're not going to say no. So as a fighter, they made up. But as for the fans and that, it's hard getting out there, isn't it? But obviously, that's going to come to an end at some stage, innit? I think the Riyadh season. I'm not too sure when it ends, or does it end? I don't really know. I don't know too much about it. And then once that ends, then the fight will be still getting made in the UK. I think that's what Frank said on an interview that I've seen. So they still will be getting made. There's enough fighters out there and need to keep them going and things like that. But with this boxing, you never know what's happening. Do you? You never know what's around the corner. Nothing's guaranteed. So just take each day as it comes, and yeah, that's about it really.
Obviously, you're not going to look ahead of Rey Vargas, but do you think, bringing the WBC belt back to Liverpool, and would you want to defend it in your home city at some stage? Is that something that appeals to you in the future?
Yeah, definitely because I've always boxed in London in my big fights. London, Manchester was the last one. So Liverpool, yeah, that's something I definitely want to do in the future, which I think will happen to be honest. But it's just a matter of when in it. But obviously, let's get the belt first and then think about defending it.
Brilliant. And just finally, Nick, as I always like to do, what can fans tuning in on March 8th expect from Nick Ball? How do you win this fight?
I can win this fight. You know, I can win it by stoppage. I can win it by points. But one thing I'm gonna win it by is it'll be entertaining for the fans, won't it? And you're gonna get your money's worth when you're watching me. And I've got this far in my career. I'm not gonna let no one take this opportunity from me now. So I'm coming, coming with everything in this fight, yeah, and putting everything into it. So I'm sure it's gonna be an exciting one, yeah, while it lasts.
Brilliant, Nick. Well, I appreciate your time as always. Top man. Thanks very much for chatting to ASBR Boxing and all the best on fight night.
Yeah, nice one, Paul. Thanks.